What's poppin'? It's Mello back at you with another video, and today what we're getting into is harmonizing the melody. This is, I think, the part 3 of my melody basics series, and we're going to be going over putting chords under a melody you already have, harmonizing a melody that's already over chords, the easiest ways to do that, and a few other tips and things of that nature. So it's going to be quick, straightforward, and stuff like that. But before we get into it, what I need you to do is put a like on the video, also subscribe and click the bell to get notified. Let's get into it. So the first part of the tutorial is going to be how to create chords with the melody that you created. So right here we are in G minor. I have a basic motif, which if you watch my last tutorial, you know a motif is a short musical idea. Let's play this. The way that you harmonize this or make chords around it, and this is going to be the base of the video, you're going to skip every other note within the scale in whatever direction you choose from the note that you want to put the chord around. I'm going to Control C, Control V. It's going to paste everything. I'm going to slide everything to the left, and then I'm going to hold Control again and press the down arrow to put it down an octave. Let's listen to it now. So cool. I'm only going to select certain points to have a chord. That's going to be that right there, that right there, that right there, and these last 2 points right here. Let's listen to it right now. Those are the points that I'm going to build the chords around, and the notes match the notes in the melody. So if you remember my chords video, I broke down that a basic triad is a 3-note chord. The bottom note is the root, the second note in the chord is a third, and the third note is the fifth. Kind of confusing, but just follow me with it. This right here, we're going to build around this. We're going to make that the root position for the chord. So we're going to skip up 2 notes, and then we're going to skip up 2 notes. Let's listen to it. That's fine. We have this D. Let's build a chord around that. Let's do the same thing. Let's see if it sounds good still. Now we built the chord. Let's transpose it down. We're going to select it, hold Control, push the down arrow. That's cool. We're going to push this note up, which, you know, again, hold Control after you select it, push the up arrow. That's going to transpose it up. So let's listen to it. We got this. Let's transpose this down right there. And we use the last G as the root position. This time we're going to make that a 5th. So we're going to put the chords under that. And again, I just skipped every note down the other way. For these, I'm going to just skip down every other note. Let's see how it sounds. Let's try something. Let's take that away and skip up 1 note. See how that chord sounds. Sounds a lot better. Now what I'm going to do is drag these out. Shaboopy. Drag these notes in. Let's create some separation between the melody and the chords. We'll push that up 1 octave. Now let's listen to it. Push these bass notes down 1 octave. Now let's listen to the melody. So boom, it's that simple. Skipping every other note when you stack it. And again, you could do that either all the way up, all the way down, or put the note that you're working with in the middle. Now let's say you want to keep it real simple. You just want a bass line in the melody. You don't want chords. All you do, after you do something like I just did, you could just erase all this stuff. That's what you got. That is how you create chords based on a melody that you created. Now, the second thing that we're going to go over is harmonizing a melody that you already have. I mean, you already have the chords and you have the singular melody that isn't harmonized or anything like that. Let's listen to it. Now we're just gonna do the same thing. We're not gonna overcomplicate it. You know, we're gonna harmonize certain parts just by skipping a note. Now, when you already have chords laid out, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's best to skip up. And it's usually best to skip up 2 notes. So boom, that right there. 1, 2 in the scale. And we'll just do that for every single note just to see how it sounds first. Now, when you're doing this with your melodies, you probably want to just keep it on certain points and not want to do it for every single note. So let's listen to that. Now, what you could also do is skip up 4 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That will create a 5th. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw some 5ths in there. Let's see how that works. So boom, let's do that right there. Put a 5th right there. I mean, it's very simple. Now the one thing about harmonizing the melody, when you have chords under it, try to avoid doing stuff like putting 3 notes and putting a whole chord over a chord that's already going. Try to avoid that. Just have 2 notes, makes it simple, it's gonna sound good. Now this is another thing that you can do. When you do that, you can actually harmonize under it just by transposing the note. And you wanna make sure you have enough space like we have right here. You don't want it too close. We're about 2 octaves up. Sounds great. Now, if we do stuff like drag this out and then drag this out, it's gonna sound a lot better. Sounds kind of like a counter melody, but it's really not. You're just harmonizing with the melody. And the reason that it's harmonizing is because the 2 notes are striking at the same time, the same damn time. If we slide this back, that's really just another melodic note when we just slide it back. But when we have them overlapping, it's harmony. So that's what it is. Now for the last part, we have an active melody, and I'm gonna show you that you can harmonize every note, or you can basically just, you know, harmonize certain parts like I just showed you, and you can do it with an active melody as well. Let's listen to this melody by itself very quickly. You see all the chords and stuff like that, but we're only really paying attention to the melody. We're gonna put thirds, which is the second note in the chord, over every note. So that just means we're gonna skip up 2 on each note. So that's skipping up 2. We start from here. 1, 2, boom, 1, 2. And I'm gonna do that to every other note. Now let's listen to it. I know you notice, I know your ears notice that these 2 notes do not sound right. Now this one is skipping up 1. This note is skipping up 1 from the D sharp. We could get into why this note doesn't sound right and stuff like that, but we're not. We're just gonna erase it. Now this is the other thing. This is the truth. Any note could possibly work, and you could just poke around and figure out what will work. So instead of skipping 2, the only thing that I really don't recommend is putting the next note up, because that's not gonna sound good really either. It's gonna sound very dissonant. That's not gonna be the move. But how about we skip up 3 notes? That works, but if we look at that, what is that? So when we push that down and we look at it, because right here, this is doing a grace note to a D sharp. So we really count these as D sharps. But when we push it down, what happens? If we put another note there, it's a basic triad in the other direction. But as far as going one note up, in most cases, that's gonna work. And when it doesn't work, when it sounds sour over a chord, one of the things you can do is find a different note that's in the chord that you can use to layer over that note, or just poke around and figure out what sounds good. So I hope you got some value out of the video. I hope you learned some things. The thing I want you to take away from this, you don't have to stack every single note that you put in the melody, but you can use it sparingly. You can use it on every note if you decide to, but it's good to put that in the melody sometimes to make it more dynamic. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions. Also, let me know what other ideas you have as far as any other tutorials, anything that you want me to cover, because you know I do put them in a list. I'm trying to knock everything out, but other than that, I'll see y'all another day, somehow, some way. I'm out.